Good morning. So good to see you.
It's good to see you.
No, I missed you. How was the vacay?
Vacation was great, but you know what? I got to tell you, I am so used to coming down here on Fridays. I really missed being here and the interaction, the people calling.
Sure.
I'm so glad to be back.
Good to have you. Threw off your routine, didn't it?
It threw off my routine, and when you get old like me, you don't want to throw off your...
You like the norm, don't you? Tell him, Charlie. You like that norm. I want to get right to...
But you're a breath of fresh air.
Charlie, I love you.
You are. You're a breath of fresh air. Are you working up on the main set now, too?
Yeah.
Right.
I'm filling in now. You need to talk to Bob, see what we can do about that. I'm filling in right now. That's a whole nother segment on another show.
Okay.
I got a question before we take the calls. Ron from Tell City said he couldn't call today. He was recording the show. Wants to know about his southern magnolia trees, 8 to 16 feet tall. What's the best time to trim them?
Okay, the southern magnolias, that's southern magnolias? Okay, southern magnolias are magnolias that lose their leaves in the wintertime, or in the fall. So the best time to trim them is after they've lost their leaves. Now, the southern magnolia is not to be confused with the Magnolia grandiflora that have the big rubber type leaf that hold that leaf year round.
Okay.
So the best time to trim your southern magnolias, which include the star magnolia, the Salingiana, the salicifolia that bloom the white and the pink and the purple, is after they lose their leaves, generally in November.
Can he trim?
If you need to trim them.
Can he trim the branches?
You thin them.
Okay.
You don't want to change the basic shape unless there's something just really out of line, but you want to thin the inside, and that promotes a healthy tree, and it allows the tree to be what it wants to be. And you don't, just like we get off on different tangents, but you see so many of these trees. Remember the old pom-poms, the junipers that people sculpted into a... For many people, that's not attractive.
Okay.
And it's trying to get that plant to do something that it really doesn't want to do. So when you trim a southern magnolia, you want to thin the inside of it just to kind of open it up, but you don't want to manufacture a different look for a tree that just wants to be a tree.
All right, let's get to...
Does that make sense?
Yes,
okay.
Well, it does. I hope Ron gets it. Let's get to Ramona from Evansville.
Good morning, Ramona.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I have a poinsettia.
Okay.
And we received them at church, and I don't know how to go ahead, and I'm sure that the growing season, or whatever you want to call it, is over with. It still has a few blooms, but they're kind of wilted. Now, somebody said I can trim it back, put it in a dark place, and save it for next year. Now, is that what I need to do?
If, Ramona, I owned that poinsettia, I would treat it right now just like a houseplant. I would put it on maybe the south exposure where it gets some good sun, maybe the western exposure. I would water it once a week, which would be equivalent to maybe 4 ice cubes. I would not necessarily fertilize it. If you eat apples, take the apple core and put it in the pot underneath the poinsettia. It gives off, the apple core gives off ethylene gas. That ethylene gas promotes blooming, so it will extend the bloom time of the poinsettia. Now, the last question is, once it's warmed up, you get to the middle of May, take it outside, and you can plant it just like you would any other plant. Leave it in the pot, but put it in the ground, water it, etc., through the growing season. It's not going to bloom. Then next year, along about the 1st of September, you start the process of 12 hours of daylight, 12 hours of darkness. And you do that, simply put a bushel basket over it, or a waste basket, and you can control that real easy. And finally, the bracts, the modified leaves, will start turning red, and you'll have your poinsettia again for next year.
Okay, Kim from Evansville.
Why does it take me so long to answer a question?
I don't know, because we got Kim from Evansville. We got 45 seconds.
Okay, go. Oh, Kim.
Hello?
Yes.
Yes.
What's your
I have a
question?
question. I want to plant some orange trees, lemon trees, and apple trees.
Yes.
Okay, how long does it take for them to grow, and what season do you plant them in?
Okay, the orange tree and the lemon tree are not hardy for this area, so you'll have to use those as an ornamental on the inside of the house. So the apple trees you can plant generally from the middle of February all the way to the end of March. But orange and apples you got to keep on the inside of the house because they're not hardy for the outside.
Okie dokie. We'll get some more calls after the break. Go nowhere. There's a number on your screen. We'll keep Charlie Stalker here. You're watching Lifestyles on WTVW.